Yeah, I'll be here catching. About Jamestown hasn't changed at all since.
It hasn't changed a bit. I played here in 1977. I signed with the Mets, #1 pick, and Jamestown was in the league. It was the Expos at the time, right. So it hasn't changed much.
What's the field and stuff? How'd you do against the Expos? Do you remember playing here at this field?
I do remember playing here. We did pretty well, actually, against them. I remember hitting a home run here that hit the top of the second fence in right field and broke the top of the fence off for a home run, yes. I was a shortstop. I played short all the way through my minor league career, basically, until I tore my rotator cuff. Right. And then that's what moved me to second base.
If Scrappy ever gets into a link in the wiki, it'll link to Wally Backman.
Yeah, no, it's just, that's my style. I played the game scrappy. I played the game hard. I played the game to win. I try to instill those things in my players. How to play the game clean, but play the game hard. The one thing I try to instill in the players is you don't let anybody out hustle you. That's one thing that doesn't take any ability. So you should never get out hustled by an opposing team.
Had vaulted into first place in the National League East. From there, the 1-2 punch of Lenny Dykstra and Wally Backman continued to ignite a club that refused to yield its hold on the top spot. Putting hustle into muscle, Dykstra and Backman weren't pretty, but they got the job done.
You find yourself kind of worked your way up to the Mets. In fact, your very first game as a Met, you got a hit.
Yes, I did.
You remember that?
Absolutely. It was in Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Yep. 1980.
What was it like, just to kind of get up there, the ladies and gentlemen now batting, Wally Backman?
I was 20 years old when I got to the big leagues, so it was it was exciting. It was almost scary in a sense, because I'm looking out at the players that they had. Ron Say at third base, Bill Russell, Davey Lopes, Steve Garvey, Rick Monday, all those guys, Reggie Smith, Dusty Baker, guys that I grew up as a kid kind of idolized. Pretty much the everyday second baseman in '84. Actually, it started out in '82. I played most of the time as well, but '84 was really the start. When Davey Johnson took over, he inserted me in the lineup on a regular basis.
How much to the fact that Davey Johnson was a second baseman? Did he take a liking to you?
I think so. Davey and I got along very well. I went down one year and played for Davey in the minor leagues, and had a great rapport with him.
All the pieces for a winning team were now in place. All that was needed was someone to lead them, and Cashin found that man right within his organization, Davey Johnson.
'86, obviously a pivotal year.
It was a good year. I hit 320 that year. Right. Yeah, I was a piece of the puzzle that helped get us to the World Series and win the World Series. So, we had a great chemistry. We had a good ball club. We had a lot of talent, but the chemistry, the way that we gelled together as a team was, you don't see that happen very often.
It's party time at Shea as 50,000 fans are generating their own electricity.
13 years of waiting.
Ground ball to second. Backman to Hernandez. The inevitable has finally become a reality. On September 17th, the New York Mets become champions of the National League's Eastern Division for 1986.
That '86 National League Series was Backman. Someplace, somewhere, you're there at the pivotal time, and all of a sudden, you're scoring the big run. Did you kind of feel like that was sort of a magical series?
Well, it was my job. My job was to get on base, and I'd go up there at times and take a lot of pitches early in a game for guys like Keith Hernandez. Keith used to always tell me, "Wally, take some pitches here. I want to see what this guy's got." And that's our 3-hole hitter. That's our bread and butter, basically. And I would do those things. I'd fight and claw and do whatever I could to get on base.
Manager Davey Johnson could take comfort the next night, as Keith Hernandez and company were making life a little uncomfortable for Nolan Ryan. Already up 3-0 in the fifth, the Mets had Dykstra on third and Backman on second, with Hernandez looking fastball all the way. One run scores, and quickly another. The New Yorkers...
Because I remember even in Game 6 that you drove in a run in the 14th and scored the game-winning run, and everybody was ecstatic.
Yeah, no, that was a great series. That was a series against Houston before we went to the series, and that was probably one of the best series I've ever played in.
With the Mets batting in the bottom of the 12th, Gary Carter came up big. Wally Backman scampered home with the deciding run, and the New Yorkers were now just one victory away from the pennant.
The pitch on the way, swing and a miss, swing and a miss, struck him out, Mets win it, the Mets have won it, oh, they are mobbing Jesse Orozco.
For the third time in their amazing history, the Mets had captured a National League pennant.
It's just unbelievable. I don't have enough words to describe how great it is to be going to the World Series.
This is an awful happy bunch of guys out here. We're just...
Wilson, I mean, everybody focuses in on, where were you and how did you sense that last inning?
Well, I didn't sense that last inning being very good because I made the first out.
Yeah.
I flew out to left, and then Hernandez flew out to center, and all that kept running through my mind was I felt that we played the worst, whatever, that would have been game 6, I guess that was. I thought we played the worst 6 games of the season in the World Series. We just didn't do the things that we did, in the Houston series or throughout the season. It was kind of frustrating, and then the magic came.
It was Carter who sparked a rally for the ages.
Lined into left field, base hit for Carter, and the Mets are still alive.
Mitchell was called on to pinch hit and kept the patient breathing. There was no margin for error on this long day's journey into night.
And that's going to be hit into center field, base hit. Here comes Carter to score, and the tying run is at third in Kevin Mitchell.
Leading now just 5-4, Boston called on Bob Stanley. His mission, erase a budding hero named Mookie.
All I want to do is I don't want to strike out. And it so happens that Bob Stanley threw a wild pitch.
And it's going to go to the backstop. Here comes Mitchell to score the tying run, and Ray Knight is at second base.
Now at that point, a big relief is on me now. I mean, I can't lose. There's nothing I can do to lose anymore. When I came to the plate, we were losing, and now I'm still at the plate, and all of a sudden we're tied. I can't lose now, no matter what I do. So I just want to make contact.
Little roller up along first, behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
It was, you gotta believe, some 13 years later.
Did you believe it as it was kind of unfolding? Was there at some point where you'd say, God darn it, I think we might do this?
Yeah, pretty much when we got to when we got to Mookie, it was like, come on, Mook, just do something,
Yeah.
And, the big hits, Mitchell got jammed, Carter got the hit, Ray Knight got a hit. It started going, wow, maybe, because, hey, that's why you play 9 full innings.
That's right. Bob Stanley then throws the wild pitch.
Right, which I thought should have been caught, So, it's here and there, there's a lot of things that you can look at. McNamara all year long had used Dave Stapleton for defense for Buckner because he had the bad Achilles tendons. And in Game 6, I'm sure he was thinking, well, Buckner's played as long as he has. I want him to be out there to have the glory. But like I said, you got to play 9 full innings.
And you had to play a 7th game.
Absolutely. We felt good going into Game 7.
Yeah.
The Mets were champs. Once more.
Was that your highlight?
I think so. I think that's the reason that you play the game of baseball, in my opinion, is to win championships. And we were fortunate to be able to do it that year.
6 hits in a game. Did you feel like you wanted to kiss the bat when the day was
No, it's a good story, too. That was in early May of 1990. And actually, Ted Power was the pitcher. We had 2 outs in the 9th. And I told Teddy, I says, Teddy, try to get a hit right here. I want to have a chance to try to get 6 hits. I've never had a chance to do that. And sure as behold, that was the only hit Ted Power got. He hit a double off the wall. It was the only hit I believe he got all year that year.
No
So
kidding.
Yep. So that's memorable.
Well, then you get your 6th. That's terrific. While managing in the Western Baseball League, you were bit by a brown recluse spider.
Yes, I was.
Wow.
That's the scar on my forehead.
What the hell did you think was going on? Did you get sick right away?
It happened in the middle of the night. By the time I woke up in the morning, my forehead was swollen up pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I went right to the doctor's office then.
Did you have all the things? You know?
No, it was crazy. It hurt too.
The fever and all that stuff.
Yep. I didn't hit many home runs, but I don't remember who it was against. That if it was against the Giants, I think it was against the Giants, and I think it was against Mike Krukow.
Yeah. What's next? As you kind of project ahead.
I'm just, I'm really, after everything that I went through in Arizona, I'm here. The Wilpons gave me an opportunity to come back to organized baseball and let a lot of people make their own evaluations of me. That's why I'm back.
How are you finding it this year?
I'm finding it great. I'm having a blast in Brooklyn. It's been good. We've lost some tough ball games, but we'll get better.
Take care of you.
If there ever was really an idol, I would probably take it back to Pete Rose, because I remember as a kid of probably 14, 15 years old, and trust me, I'm fortunate enough to play against the guy, but to me, that's the way the game of baseball was supposed to be played.
Well, that's how you played it. Right?
Yep. A couple of guys that I had a tough time. Fernando Valenzuela was one of the toughest. I think in my career I was 1 for 19 off the guy. It didn't matter if I hit a ball hard; it was right at somebody. And then, but he would have been one of the toughest.
Remember that?
I remember it very well. You bet. That was an exciting time. That winning the championship. There's you can't. It's hard to put words on winning a championship. From the ticker tape parade that we had, it's almost like a blur when you go through the city and you see all those millions of people out there. And the fans of New York, I have to say, and it's not because I'm with the Mets, they're the best fans in baseball. They're the most knowledgeable people. But what a great place to play.
Can you believe it?
Before we begin,
yes,
I want to say hello to Bob, Mindy, Bukowski, Dandies, and most of all, my buddy Kevin Hodge.
Oh.
Coming home to Brooklyn and seeing friends and people I grew up with and went to grammar school and high school with, is just another chapter to a great journey in life so far. Well, I went to a junior college, Alvin Junior College outside of Houston, Texas, and back then they had a January draft.
Right.
And that January of 1981, I was drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers. And then that June of '81, I was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays and went back to Alvin Community College and drafted in January by the Pittsburgh Pirates, and I really wanted to play. And it turned out to be a great experience and got to the big leagues within 2.5 years, so, no complaints.
Away the AAA baseball with the Buffalo Bisons, and that was an exciting time for Buffalo.
Traded to Sporting News. From Business Week to Time Magazine. From Baseball America to Sports Inc. USA Today further heralded this magnificent showplace. Buffalo makes big pitch. Revitalized Buffalo has major goals. Oh, how Buffalo loves its jewels. Buffalo rates #1 in field of expansion. Bisons themselves.
I think it's a great facility. It's just a great place to be.
Oh, this is definitely the best one I've ever played.
A great atmosphere in New York with people, with the same type of personality and characteristics that I have. So it was a perfect love story. And then the fan support, and I had a very, very successful season, and it just got me back to the big leagues. But going through Buffalo also helped me be successful in big leagues because we had 13,000 people a night there. Mike Bellani was the general manager at the time. He did a great job promoting, and then we had Bukowski, Dandies, and obviously the Riches, and they treated me like family.
Bennie Di Stefano led the team with 19 homers and 63 RBI.
And then obviously being part of the first ever AAA All-Star game.
Field is the home of the first AAA All-Star baseball game.
Bison representatives as Bennie Di Stefano.
And getting in the batter's box, Roy Smith was pitching, someone who I played sandlot ball with, and we gave a smirk to each other. All of a sudden, hearing everyone cheering, and we turned, looked down the right field line, and there's Morganna coming, and that's another memory I'll always have.
That wasn't the only special attention for one of the Bison's All-Stars, though. Di Stefano became the envy of all his teammates when he was visited by baseball's kissing bandit, Morganna, prior to his first at-bat.
What did you think? I mean, there you are after the announcement, ladies and gentlemen, representing the...
I was distracted, and I could see Roy Smith laughing at me, was smiling, and when I looked at the video, I turned red. I spoke to my parents that night because, during that time, it was the only professional baseball game on TV in the country that night. Was AAA All-Star game. Then the next night was a Major League All-Star game. So it was just, had a lot of people call me up. It was just such a memorable time. It's just an incredible experience. And I'm one of those type of, I'm a very tough competitor, but off the field I'm very easygoing, and you can pull pranks on, and I give the pranks. So obviously I took it lighthearted, and it was just a great time to get me on a great experience.
Did she say anything to you?
Yes, she said I was a good sport. She sat on my lap in a dugout. We did a little interview, and it was a lot of fun because I've seen her, in the past give celebrities kisses and be out in sporting events, so it was a lot of fun.
How did you dig in after that?
I hit a little pop up to center field, but we had a lot of fun.
Did the players have fun with it too? Or did it?
Yes, the players high-fived me to get in, and they had a lot of fun with it, but it was just, everyone had a great time that evening.
Yeah.
It was just done first class. Okay.
You were there for how long with the Bison?
1 year.
1 year?
1 year, and then I got to the big leagues that year, and then I was up in the big leagues from then on. Leland took my role, and I had a very successful 1989 campaign, and then also, my role was being a left-handed catcher, an emergency situation, and that also, was another, I guess, a feather in the cap. Just to... What happened was in 1988, that September, I went up with Pittsburgh to give me another opportunity, which I'll always be grateful for, and I, was taking advantage of. But in 1989, the owners were a little frustrated with the players' union and the players, so they cut it from a 25-man roster to a 24-man roster. Jim Leland told me, he said, Benny, we'd like to keep it. We don't know what we're going to do, and it'll be either be you or probably Tom Prince going with 3 catches. But we would like to carry another left-handed bat. Well, we go to the airport after the game in Philadelphia, and in the hotel lounge, the airport lounge, having a cold one with Ray Miller and Neil Heaton before we got on our plane, and we're watching a ball game on TV, and Ray goes, Benny, I don't know why there's not any left-handed catches in the big leagues. And I asked him if he was joking, and he said no. So evidently, I think they might have talked about it in a meeting, and they were planting a seed. Because I said, you think Jim would get mad if I went in and asked him about it, if I could have that opportunity? He said, I don't think so. So the next day, I got to the ballpark early. I said, Skip, I said I was talking to Ray Miller, and can I have the opportunity to be a left-handed catcher next year at emergency to fill in? He said, I don't see why not. I had Mike Squires do it in the 70s when I was coaching the big leagues there. So we called Rawlings up, who's in St. Louis. They had a glove for me the next day. And that afternoon when I spoke to Jim Leland, I caught Doug Drabeck down in the bullpen with my first baseman. And after the big league season, they sent me to Instruction League just to learn how to catch. And Joe Lynette was my instructor. And I went to big league camp with him and had the opportunity to catch 3 games.
3 games. Did it affect your batting at all?
No, not at all. You at the big league level, you've learned how to separate your fielding from your hitting. And my role was being a pinch hitter off the bench that year. What happened was I was with the Astros in '92. I first got called up. It was the end of April, and Coney had a no-hitter. I faced Coney in the minor leagues, and we knew each other a long time. And an outstanding pitcher, obviously, great career. And we were losing 3-0 at the time, and it was 1 out in the 8th inning. He had a no-hitter going, and he started me off with a forkball. I'll never forget it. And he had 2-0 on me, and all I could think was, Coney, he's going to throw me that fastball. I'm going to drop the head. I'm hitting out of the ballpark. I'm pulling the foul, and so I saw the ball come out of his hand, and I was swinging out of my shoes, and I hit it off the end of the bat. I cued it just like you're playing pool, and it cued about 45 feet down the third base line and stopped right in the middle, and Dave Madigan couldn't do nothing. Yeah. But Johnny Franco was ragging me the next day all about it because we went to high school together.
What's the biggest difference from the game perspective? This is 1990. As far as just from the play.
They play a different brand of baseball. They like to intimidate and throw at Americans and up above the shoulders just to intimidate and underneath their skin. They believe in work, and when you're done working, work more. Where we over here believe, okay, you work hard, but it's more quality than quantity.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a little more mental difference. They believe in beating up the players a little bit more than we do here. I like to be with the Met organization until I retire.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised a Met fan. I want to get to the big leagues as a coach, but that, sometimes you can't control it. If that don't happen, that's okay. I can go to sleep at night knowing I work hard, I'm a good coach, and the chips didn't fall that way. But I would love to retire in a New York Met uniform. Whatever they want me to do, be Rookie League, AAA, send me to Guam, I don't care. I want to be part of the New York Met organization, help these young guys get better.
You've been terrific. Any final message for Bob and Mindy?
Again, Bob and Mindy, thank you for everything, and send my love to, Bukowski and the rest of the Bison organization, and, hopefully I'll get to see you guys soon, and, it's been a great run so far, and thank you for everything.